Hi, I'm Stefano, the moon guy, and this video is going to be about the archetype of Mercury. Wherever we have Mercury in our chart, it's going to fall in a specific zodiac sign, and this will give us information about how we think, how we communicate and exchange ideas, what we perceive and digest from our experiences, what tends to occupy our mind, the things we tend to notice and pick up from the environment. The house in which we have Mercury is an area of life where we tend to be curious, inventive, adaptable, sometimes restless, and especially Mercury is highly influenced by other planets making contact with it, especially the ones with smaller, that are closer in degrees. And it will describe something about our relationship with siblings, neighbors, colleagues, and it can also give indications of what we might experience through traveling. Mercury rules both Gemini and Virgo. Gemini Mercury likes to move around a lot, seeing how each thing relates to another, making associations, connections, while Virgo likes to take one thing and focus on that and go deeper with it. Gemini likes knowledge for knowledge's sake, and Virgo likes knowledge that can be put into practical use. Gemini tends to absorb information through the intellect, Virgo through the body and its senses. Gemini likes to see how the parts of something fit together. Virgo likes to pull things apart, dissecting something into its component parts. Hermes is a strong mythological representation of the mercurial principle. Very ingenious and precocious. It's said that he comes out of the womb and already walking and talking. And amongst many of the genius feats of Hermes still as a little baby, one of the most known is when he finds a turtle and he has the idea to transform it into a musical instrument, creating then the lyre. So here we see the archetype of Mercury as the craftsman, ingenious, skillful. The house in which we have Mercury will tend to be where we can be quite crafty, inventive, playful, where we are willing to have new ideas and think outside the box instead of being satisfied with the status quo of that domain. People who are strongly influenced by Mercury tend to be quite adaptable. Hermes in mythology is also a mimic. So the planet Mercury in anyone's chart is able to copy and mimic the archetypal nature of basically all the other planets. In myth, Hermes is constantly stealing from the other gods, which is a way of saying that he possesses certain attributes from the other gods. Hermes is also a liar, so where we have Mercury can be where sometimes we tend to bend the truth a little bit or a lot in our favor. Hermaphroditus is one of Hermes' progeny, which contains both sexes, and it represents the psychological blend between the feminine and the masculine energies that every individual contains in him or herself. So there will be moments when we decide to act more in a more assertive way, in other moments more receptive, and it is Mercury who enables us to assess and analyze the situation and decide if we are acting upon it coming from a yang or a yin sort of place. Another facet of Hermes is as a magician. There are many examples in mythology. For instance, when he turns himself into this cloud of smoke to go through a keyhole, or when he charms the three-headed monster Cerberus to sleep so he can get into the underworld. And this is connected to the power of words, thoughts, mantras, prayers. Psychosynthesis refers to that as mental rehearsals, also the constructive use of imagination. So instead of wondering and worrying about how something might turn out, we can instead redirect that energy constructively and actually influence the outcome. Hermes is the only god who can move through the three realms in Greek mythology. And this is connected to Mercury's ability to move from one plane to another from our psyche. So we have the heavens related with the more spiritual and transpersonal realms, the earth plane as the conscious and everyday linear level of life, and we have the underworld, which is where we have unintegrated positive and negative psychic materials that were buried or repressed. This is Hermes as the psychopomp, which correlates Mercury to psychotherapy. So, for instance, if you have in your chart Mercury aspecting Pluto, you are asked to delve into the roots of your complexes and untapped potentials. While if you have perhaps Jupiter or Uranus with Mercury, your mind will tend to be drawn to the more philosophical or spiritual realm. Mercury brings movement to the different parts of our psyche and perspective to issues and situations. It can analyze something that is perceived as a problem and transform it through a change of attitude. Like we said before, Mercury governs our thoughts and our perceptions, and also those that limit us. The ability to have new ideas that expand and free us. Our mental set determines how we process sensorial data. So, for instance, if someone has the mental set that planet Earth is heading to a major disaster, then this person will be predisposed to pick up anything from the environment which supports their expectations, while ignoring or dismissing what counters it. And this that we're talking about is Hermes as the alchemist. It helps us probing into our shadows, the unfamiliar territories of our personality, by honestly examining our reactions to problematic people or situations. We can actually learn a great deal about parts of our psyche that are asking to be brought up to the daylight of our consciousness and worked on. It is alchemical in the sense that we are taking something that is considered undesirable and turning it into gold by viewing and dealing with it differently. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to book a consultation, if you're into astrology, please visit my website, thecharter.com, and subscribe to my channel, The Moon Guy. Bye bye.